channel. My name is Jeffy, and this is my best friend and closest life companion, Android the Chihuahua. Today we're going to be doing something really cool. I'm sure you guys can see all around me we have a remarkable amount of foam, and I'm so excited for what we're going to be doing with this. We are going to be making some dog beds for some shelter dogs, and I'm hoping to get these to them before Christmas. So you also might be asking yourself why I'm doing this on camera. You know, like if you're going to do something, you should just do it and not have to put it on camera. This has actually been a dream of mine for a long time, to give dogs beds for Christmas, because some shelter dogs, we don't really know where they came from, and it's possible that they've never had a real bed to themselves before. So I just have always wanted to do it. And because I'm on a little bit of a budget, we're just doing these round circular beds. This is the smallest. This one's for a 20-pound dog. But normally when I make these beds, guys, I put a huge round circle around the outside, and those circles end up making the cost of the beds about twice as expensive. So next year, I want to set up a GoFundMe to see if we can raise $500 or $600. That way I can make dog beds again, but this time add huge rims to them, because those beds are seriously so nice. Extreme niceness aside, these beds are really soft and really plush, and I really think that the dogs will love them. I used fleece to sew these, and I choose fleece because for the price, it is the strongest material that you can get. There are stronger materials out there, but the cost kind of skyrockets from fleece on up, so this is a good option. And also, this is just so beautiful and colorful. There was a lot of cool things that we could choose. This is our biggest bed that we have, and I only stuffed the small one. I think I'm going to stuff these off camera because the noise of these bags is a little intense, and I just don't think you guys would enjoy it. So this is our largest dog bed. And then we have a couple of medium size. We have 3 medium size, and these are for dogs that are like between 45 and 50 pounds. And then that largest dog bed is for a 60-pound dog, so I think these are going to be good as far as size goes. Now, you guys will also probably notice that I already sewed these beds for the most part. All we have to do is stuff them and sew up a little side. And the reason for that is, same like these bags, I just don't think you guys would enjoy the noise from my sewing machine, and it would be a little silly to do a tutorial on this because it really is just 2 circle pieces that I cut out and sewed together on my serger. So to make this video a little bit more interesting and not just me closing up some seams, I printed offline a bunch of questions. This is actually 200 questions in this bag. We will not get to all of them today. And these questions are like getting to know you questions, but they are intense. This is not what is your favorite ice cream. They are like, what is your craziest memory? My overall goal with this is to give my subscribers and people who don't know me in real life a little better understanding of who I am as a person. So let's get started and ask our first question. If you got a free check for $5,000 right this second, how would you use it? Well, I think that's an easy one. I would splurge a little bit more to make a couple more dog beds, and probably get something nice for Android. He deserves it. You know, he's just such a good guy. What are your thoughts on online dating or Tinder? I don't want to offend anyone out there, but I honestly don't like either. I think it's really, really hard to be able to tell anything at all about a person's personality based on just online profiles. All right, we are officially 1 dog bed in. Alright, next we're sewing this huge one, because once it's done, I can sit on it while I sew the rest of these, and hopefully we can get Android to join us again. Alright, next question. Pick 2 out of physical chemistry, lifestyle compatibility, emotional compatibility, and intellectual compatibility. That is such a stupid question, because honestly, if you were going to be with someone, you would need to match in all 4 of those categories. Do you have a favorite book, a line in a piece of literature, a poem, and why do you relate to it? Alright, so this book is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I actually found his blog online one day when I was just kind of trying to look up things that would make me feel a little bit more positive. And I really enjoyed reading his writing. So I'm very dyslexic and I don't read very often. It's rare that I will read an entire book. But I purchased this because I knew that I could understand his writing and also enjoy his writing. And I ended up reading it in chapter sections because I have a hard time reading to begin with. So it was a lot easier for me to digest just sitting down like once a week and reading a chapter. And I think that's one of my favorite things about this book is you can read it chapter by chapter and take the time to digest what you just read without having to read the whole thing to understand it. It really is a step-by-step guide on how to make yourself better as a person, and it was really hard to recognize as it was happening, but you get to a point where you feel like you're at rock bottom and you look back at your life and it really is just a slow decline where the first choice you made that was bad seemed so close to where you were before that you didn't notice it, but you get to a serious point where all of your bad decisions have compounded on each other, and at that point you just feel kind of hopeless. But I think this book really helped pull me out of that because it made me realize that constantly making good decisions that were better for my future self and decisions that were better for the people around me was going to eventually make a big difference, and it really has. I'm honestly not as good off as I would like to be, but I'm in a lot better place than I was at before I found this book. I was feeling a little bit hopeless, honestly, and it's really hard when you're in a bad place to think that you could ever get out of it, and the steps it takes to make yourself better, it's a lot, and it's hard to look at the future and think that you have the potential to make all those changes. But it really starts out with just small changes, and that's another thing that this book is good for. It says right on the front, teeny changes, remarkable results, because that really is all it takes for a better life, is to just start making little changes, and all of those little changes eventually add up with each other, and you end up with a significantly better life. So definitely check this book out. Amazon has it for like $13. I think I've probably purchased 10 copies of this book since I fell in love with it just to give to people. All right, we're officially done with our large bed, so I'm going to stuff the last 3 and then we'll sit on this guy and finish sewing the rest. All right, I can officially attest to how comfy these beds are. And I got our last 3 stuffed so we can go right through these. What do you do, or where would you go when you need to be alone? I live alone, so I'm alone most of the time, but I do have a favorite spot, and it's my favorite waterfall. It's actually the first waterfall that I ever saw, and it was the first waterfall Android ever saw. We saw it together. Is home for you a place or a feeling? Describe that place or describe that feeling. I think the closest thing to knowing what home is my dear friend Android. All right, we finished our first medium-sized dog bed. We're just gonna be stacking these up from here on out. What would you consider your deepest fear? My worst fear ever is Android getting hurt, or more specifically, Android dying. When have you felt like you were living life to the fullest? The first time I ever saw the ocean, I was 21 years old. It was just so crazy to hear the water and to feel the movement and to see all of the life around you. It made me feel small to the universe, but in a really good way. You know, it made me feel like I was part of something a lot bigger. And it made me feel like every problem that I had back in the real world was very insignificant to the universe. What's one thing you wish you knew how to do? Definitely play an instrument. One of my favorite things in the world is sitting on the porch during a thunderstorm. My favorite food is Thai food. I like basil chicken. I like any kind of noodle dish. And the reason I like Thai food so much is because it's really spicy and it's something unique that I can't cook. Well, I mean, I guess I technically could, but it seems a lot more difficult to learn how to make than other things. My fondest childhood memory. One year for Valentine's Day, my mom got a bunch of chocolates, and she had a bunch of chocolate molds because when I was really young, she used to run a bakery, and the bakery closed long before this memory happened, but she still had all of the chocolate molds. And she bought a whole bunch of chocolate so that we could make gifts for our friends at school. And my great-grandma came over that day, and we all just kind of made chocolates in the kitchen together. And the reason that's such a good memory for me is because my great-grandmother was there, and I don't have a lot of photos with her, but there is one photo that I have of her and my mom at the counter smiling, and you could just see me in the background making chocolates. But I think that's probably the only photo I have with me and my grandma, and everyone just looked really happy in it, so that was really cool. Tested them out, huh? He said, oh yeah, these look good. Alright, I'm just going over them now with a lint roller really quick, and then we will finish up. He might not come to bed with me tonight. He might like these too much. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and subscribe. Well, we'll see you guys next time.